So we're here with Bronwyn Ison, and first of all, are you a California native? Where were you born?
Well, I guess you could say that. I was born in Sacramento.
Okay. And what brought you to the desert?
My mother brought me here when I was 10 years old.
Okay. And what made her come here?
You know, she's in real estate,
Okay.
and so she was looking to expand her real estate career, and this is where she decided to come.
Okay. Now you own a yoga studio and teach yoga. Now was that what you always did, or what you always wanted to do as a young girl, or how did you evolve into this?
No,
Okay.
I had a completely different plan.
Okay.
I attended Arizona State University, and I have a broadcast journalism degree.
Okay.
So I was on my way to anchoring and reporting, of which I ended up doing,
Yeah.
and had a great time doing it. And then I had a foot injury.
Oh dear.
So I like to say that yoga found me rather than I found yoga. And I ended up in a yoga class after physical therapy, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of started to take on its own life. I practiced for many, many years before I started actually teaching.
Yeah.
And then I moved here to the desert after living in Arizona for quite some time. And I knew how to do two things when I moved here. I knew how to teach yoga, and I knew broadcasting. So when I did move back here to the Valley about 7 years ago, I was simultaneously working both careers. And then the yoga just ended up taking precedence over the broadcasting, and evolve happened. Yeah.
What, if you had to describe what specifically it is about yoga that you love so much, what would you say?
Oh, there's so many things that I love about it. It really, yoga has been for me, it has been a part of a way that I was able to really find my breath. I was really able to find some peace and calmness, and really more so than anything, I was going through a very stressful time in my life when I really started to pick up my yoga practice, and I really found it was the only place that I could catch my breath.
Yeah.
I had a lot of anxiety, and I felt so stressed at times that yoga was my outlet.
Right.
So for people who are stressed, oh my gosh, which is pretty much 100% of the population. Yoga is a really, really good stress reliever. And I was able to find my breath. There were times I was in class maybe 30 minutes and I finally caught my breath.
Right.
And the breathing techniques in yoga also helped facilitate me working through, I had upper respiratory disease. I had something that's called valley fever.
Wow.
And I was sick for about 1.5 years with this disease, which can be very, very serious. And I would definitely attribute my yogic breathing, because I was exercising my lungs with this style of breathing, which is called Ujjayi breathing, and I was able to, really strengthen my lungs.
It's a physical exercise. It helps tone you and keep you in shape, but it's also emotional and spiritual and so many other things.
Well, I think too that's why they really refer to mind, body, spirit, or mind, body, soul. You're really able to connect with yourself. So a lot of times I really like to start my classes by having people sit for a few moments, and we sit and we breathe, and I really try to guide them to a place where they need to be in the present moment, because none of us ever take the time to be in the present moment. I mean, very, very rarely,
few,
unless we're truly focusing on it. So we're thinking about other things. What did I do before I came to yoga? What do I have to do after yoga? It's midweek. Like today, we ended up talking about, okay, don't worry about what happened on Monday and Tuesday. Don't worry about what's going to happen on Thursday and Friday.
Now?
Be here now. Take the next 75 minutes. It's a very small portion of your time out of your life to sit and just, and really focus on you and being in that present moment. I had someone leave class the other day, and he goes, I really paid attention to what you said. He goes, I've never felt better in my whole life. And it was his first class, and I was like,
wow.
I love that testimony. And it just lets me know that what I'm doing is good and it's right, and I'm allowing other people to express their feelings and not feel shameful or anything like that about when they leave class.
I would think that for someone who was really uptight, like myself, that sometimes do you have people in class who kind of really get emotional? Because if you're breathing correctly for the first time, and you can just get really emotional because if you're carrying stuff.
Yes, and the areas where we hold the most tension are shoulders, neck, and into the hip area.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the hip area, as most of my students will hear me say, I refer to it as a junk drawer. Okay, because we store a lot of emotion.
A junk drawer.
A junk drawer.
Okay.
And we've all got junk drawers, right? And we never want to address what's in the junk drawer. Just like we never want to address what's going on in our personal lives. We push it to the side, dust it under the rug. I'll deal with that later. I don't want to, even focus on that. So in yoga, if we do a lot of hip opening, in fact, it's probably my #1 requested thing to do in the body.
Hip opening.
Hip opening. So we will get into the hips, and I usually say, okay, I'm going to let you know we're getting into our junk drawer. You are going to probably feel an emotional release. And I've had people who have been with me for quite some time who even at the last position of the class, which is called Shavasana, where we just lay there. Your eyes are closed, you're supposed to make like a human starfish, and some people will still just stare up at the ceiling, and I'm going, oh please, I'm waiting for the moment to close your eyes, please. And some people
never
completely shut down and they're out. Some people will fall asleep. So it's really about what's going on with them personally, I think a lot of times, or some people don't feel safe closing their eyes. They're in an environment where we are very safe and nurturing here.
What are you proudest of?
Oh, probably my daughters. Yeah, I think most people probably always say that is, they're a true blessing. I wouldn't know what to do without them. It's, being a single mother has its challenges for sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bonnie. Wonderful. Thanks.